Шановні колеги, ми продовжимо робочий день. До слова запрошую.
Dear colleagues, we continue our working day, and now I give the floor to Presidential Administration spokesman on ATO-related issues, Colonel Andriy Lysenko.
Доброго дня, шановні колеги. Вперше за
Good afternoon, dear colleagues. For the first time in 2 weeks, we see some escalation at the front line. The enemy violated ceasefire 40 times during last 24 hours, and despite the agreements, the militants interfere in the activity of international observers at the contact line and the places where the forces should be withdrawn. Now the information in more detail. In Lugansk area, the militants violated ceasefire, traditionally in hot areas such as Stanitsa Lugansk and Popasnyansky region. On the whole, the militants opened fire 10 times at positions of ATO. At that, the enemy used exclusively small arms. In the Donetsk area, shellings are observed from the mortars that are banned by Minsk agreements. The militants launched 18 mines with the use of 120mm mortars, and they also used the weaponry of APCs in the region of Nizhny Lazove village, and they also launched 6 mines near Zaitsevo. Armed provocations continued, delivered by the enemy in Zaitsevo, Troitska, Verkhnya Taretska, and in Avdiivka. On the whole, in the Donetsk area, the militants opened fire at the positions of ATO forces 12 times. In Mariupol area, after low number of armed provocation on the 25th of September, the militants renewed the activity, and 2/3 of provocations were carried out in Marienka, and enemy snipers were active. Also, the situation was not calm near Pavlopol and Shirokino, near Starognativka. The militants shelled with the use of APC. And on the whole, in Mariupol area was the biggest number of military enemy shelling. It was 18. Also, the 2 flights of enemy air drones were observed in Donetsk area. Also, during the last 24 hours, in the result of the military actions, no Ukrainian serviceman was killed, but 3 servicemen were wounded. That happened in the course of shelling. Yesterday in Kharkiv, SBU of Ukraine detained a propaganda specialist who spread in the internet separatist ideas. In the course of search, they confiscated Kalashnikov gun with cartridges to it. And one of the regional courts of Mariupol brought a verdict on the case of DPR member nicknamed Denis Jr. And in April 2016, he was detained by SBU officers, and in the course investigation, it was identified that the offender during the last 2 years kidnapped people and looted ATMs, and he provided money to the militants. With the verdict of court, 10 years with confiscation. And at the same time, one more former militant used the SBU program that is called They Wait For You Back Home. He said that in July 2014 he joined the ranks of the militants in Privilla town, Lugansk Oblast, but he fled and went to Russia, where he hid for 2 years. And recently, Lysychansk city court released him from criminal responsibility. And after court hearing, the man called on the militants to lay down the arms. In Kharkivshina, the students of the Academy of National Guard took part in joint training together with the servicemen of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. The aim of this training is to improve their commander skills, because they are future officers. And each student had some topography and technical orientation You also assessed situation and took appropriate decisions. Also, National Guard students also had some joint firing exercises with the servicemen of armed forces of Ukraine. In Dnipropetrovщina, there are some trainings of reservists on the basis of paratrooper bases. So they have some airborne training. They also had some firing training with service weaponry and drive different types of vehicles, and are preparing to be parachuted. 72nd Detached Mechanized Brigade also carry out some training with live firing, and they had some firing exercises. They also had some tactical medicine tasks and mine action. Also, Donetsk police officers improved their battle skills on the polygon after theoretical training. And they, for several hours, they had some precision firing with Makarov pistol and using Kalashnikov gun, and also worked on coordination of their efforts in the field conditions. And at the end of this training, they had some training in tactical medicine, and also how to provide first assistance to those who were wounded. If you have some questions, please ask. Thank you. Colonel, do you have questions? If there are no, this is the end of press conference. Thank you. Thank you.
Шановні колеги, наступний
Dear colleagues, our next event is at 1 p.m.